I started over here in 1973 when I bought the first land over here, and then I've added to it over the years. Always farmed. Started out, of course, in 4-H and all that. Showed calves then, and of course was in the Army, and then came out of the Army and got married a year after I was out of the Army, and we've been farming ever since.
Today's agriculture, you know, it's great that they want to come back, but it's also a challenge because ground's hard to get, and that's actually why we kind of took off with the cattle operation. You know, my father-in-law built this farm, and he built it on grain and cattle, and we want to continue that tradition. And so what we've done is, you know, we were able to not only purchase a little bit more pasture, but the barn allowed us to really expand our numbers without having to go out and try to find some ground. And it's made us more efficient, and then it's also it's helped our scale. You know, we started out, my father-in-law always ran 100 cows, and then when we moved back, Susan and I, you know, we started back up in the cattle business, and I don't think any of us envisaged being at 500 cows, but it works. You know, it's because the boys work hard at it, and it's also nice because my father-in-law Don Dipper's still, you know, out here every day, and it's that steadfast example that he set on not only work, but, you know, it's nice to be able to bounce that when we make decisions and sit down. All 3 generations sit there, and everybody, you know, we pull out a yellow piece of paper, and we built this barn off a yellow piece of paper. You know, we would think of something, Grandpa would think of something, the boys would think of something, and that's what makes the farm work.
The reason we kind of in this business today, when land got expensive there a few years ago, Rollin and Alex, they was anxious for expansion, and you couldn't really do it on land, so I said we had to do something else if they wanted to expand, and that's how this confinement business came up. And of course, they was interested in the embryo part of it, and they've been interested in cattle ever since they've been little, because at home they used to play gates all the time. I had working facilities there at home, and they'd go out in the barn and slam gates and holler, and this is number 86, or this is number 22, things like that. And then they'd follow me to the sale barns. They worked in the sale barn when they was probably 8 or 9 years old. They started driving goats and sheep, at least, and of course cattle as they grew up. But they both grew up around a sale barn too, and that's kind of course, I've always been interested more in interested, of course, in farming, and had to be, but I was more interested in the livestock part than any part of it. And hopefully that they've learned through some of my experiences and everything.
We have about 2,600 acres, 2,300 acres of row crops. And we do everything from corn, soybeans, wheat, seed corn, foundation seed corn, and then we double crop rye. We also raise alfalfa. So that's our cropping side. And then, of course, probably about 600 of those acres are pretty well dedicated to the cattle operation. Not only just pasture, but also for silage and for rilage and for haylage. The seed side of it, I mean, I've been a district rep for LG Seeds for 25 years. Built a nice business for us there. So it's kind of like 3 legs of a stool. So the seed is one, and then the farming is the other, and then the cattle. And each of them are interlocked, but they also stand alone.
Like on all our farm ground that is connected to a pasture, we fly on a cover crop in the fall for rye, so we can graze the cows on the cover crop, or we can chop it. So we got a kind of correspond with that, getting the crops off in time to get so the cover crops can grow. Then in the springtime we plant rye anyway, so then we chop the rye off for the feed, and then we got to plant after that. So we're just trying to get it all done in a timely manner so everything gets the right use out of it. Like the cattle grazing it, we let them graze it long enough, and then we want to get it off soon enough so we can get the corn in, so it then turns around to be silage corn. So we kind of got to catch 22. You don't want to leave them out there too long, but you want to leave them out there so they get all the use out of it, and then get the corn in fast enough so we can get good silage out of it as well.
You know, when we started with the farm, you know, you try to utilize every acre as far as the cropland goes, you know, and we map and we VRT spread. And about 10 years ago, we kind of realized that, you know, we weren't really doing that on our pasture ground. You know, we were just turning them out and you know, no paddocks, no rotational grazing, no anything. You know, it was always a second thought, and then we made it a first priority. So, you know, we soil test all our pastures, we rotational graze, we put in stream crossings to limit access, and it's just been a really blessing for us to have that ability, you know, for stewardship of the land. Because one of the nice things about the cattle is it utilizes that ground that really doesn't have another purpose.
We have roughly 350 to 400 spring calving cows, and then about 100 varies in the fall, calve in the fall. Calve in roughly 3 different groups. So we try and calve the 1st of January, and then sometime the first part of February, and then the middle of March is what we usually try and shoot for as far as our AI and embryo dates. Then we run bulls to clean up cows too. So, you know, we're calving pretty much from January 1st until about the end of May is when we'll stop in the spring, and then fall is 1st of September to the middle of October. Usually pretty good on as far as cleanup calves come in. So we'll put embryos in 4 times in the spring to kind of get those calving dates, and we group cows up off of calving dates. So 60 days post calving they get a cedar put in them, and then we put embryos in off of that. We'll AI around 20 or 30 of our own club calf cows to make steers and heifers for our sale, and then we also implant about 40 or 50 of our own embryos to supplement that sale as well. As far as the embryo side of the operation goes, we buy all of our recips from Circle A Ranch in Missouri. So that's where all the recips come from. They're commercial or purebred Angus, so we kind of have a consistent base on that. We started that here about 3 years ago. We used to go out and just buy groups of cows, and we found that we were getting some good cows and then some cows that were nobody else wanted. So now we get a more consistent base on our cows. As far as my brother and I's cows, the AI cows, we started out primarily showing steers when we were in 4-H. So we kind of, I don't want to say shot ourselves in the foot, because we had a lot of fun showing steers, but we didn't have any females to start breeding on when we were too old to show steers. So we've kind of went back and started buying heifers and buying cows, and we're trying to keep it a nice thin line between Simmental base to get maternal genetics, and then also stay a little bit on the key and main side to have some club calf steer making cows. So we've bought cows on partnership with some people, and then we've bought some heifers that we show and then turn them into production too. So, but you know, the way we look at it, they got to be functional and good phenotypically. You know, they got to look good, and they got to go out and do what they're supposed to do.
Our goals is, you know, we have both boys with an interest here, and so that's one of the tenets for myself, was to give each of them an enterprise that they could take ownership on and build, and they have. And so that's, you know, to continue the family farm to the next generation, and hopefully to the next one after that.
With having 4 generations back on the farm, it's an amazing feeling. I think Malcolm and I are the glue in the middle a little bit. We're bringing the previous generation in on decisions. He's able to give advice. Our parents are able to advise us, and also able to advise the boys on making decisions and how they should live their lives, and right from wrong, and how to proceed in life. And then with the boys both being back, we couldn't be more blessed with that. They've chosen this lifestyle. It's not an easy lifestyle. The 4 generations now, with a granddaughter here, and hopefully she'll have as much a passion, and I don't think that that'll be an issue at all. She already has been in the barn many a times, and been out here in the office many times. So it's just fun to see the 4 generations working, or 3 generations working together for the same common goal, for the same passion. And our faith is very strong. We're very thankful for what we have and what we can do and what we do as a family together. We give thanks for that, and we know that that is why we're all knit together.